You're listening to Happy Voicing. I'm joined with a very special guest today, someone who you might recognize and love their work, whether it's from Yugioh Go Rush, Record of Ragnarök, or Cookie Run Kingdom. Here's John Patneaude. I'm joined with a very special guest today. You might know them as Yugioh from Yugioh Go Rush, and you can also hear them in Record of Ragnarök. Can you please give yourself a small little introduction?
Yes, I can. Hello. My name is John Patneaude. I am a voice actor based in Los Angeles, and like Skylar mentioned, you can hear me in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush as Yugioh. I'm in Record of Ragnarök as Nikola Tesla. I'm in Cookie Run Kingdom as Doyle. I'm in the Trail series as a few different characters. I'm Katra, Bermati, and Maximilian Sid, and a plethora of other things. Just Google me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So to begin, what does being a voice actor mean to you?
Well, for me, I mean, it's the same reason. I mean, I view acting and voice acting as like the same thing. It's
Yeah.
it's living truthfully under the given imaginary circumstances. And because really the reason why I got into acting, I got into theater to begin with, was um, because I always felt like I was never able to exist in regular, everyday life in a way
Yeah.
that made sense to me. I felt like, anytime I would, act a little bit more exuberant or excited, that was always like, I was always told, to quiet down or to, sort of maintain my emotions.
Yeah.
Um, but because but theater, specifically theater in middle school and high school, I learned, oh, this is a place where it's okay to act like that. If anything, if like you're not afraid, if you're too self conscious, that's what makes you stand out.
Yeah.
When you're performing, and being able to express the ways that I was express the way that I was feeling internally and the angst that I had through um, the characters that I would play on stage in
Yeah.
school. That was initially my outlet, but then eventually, I got more invested into the craft of acting and wanted to pursue it. And then I had I sort of uh, stopped pursuing acting for a little bit, but then that's when I found voiceover.
Yeah.
Because voiceover was always something that I thought, oh, you become a quote unquote real actor first,
Yeah.
and then you pursue voiceover because you fall into it. Because that any interview that I read or saw of a voice actor that I looked up to, that was their journey. They were trying to make it as a theater actor or a film and TV actor, and they fell into voiceover. But me and a lot of my peers that came up with me, who are around my age,
Yeah.
we're of the generation where we were like, no, we see a path to do like directly voiceover, to do anime and video games and prelay animation,
Yeah.
the kind of things that we want to do. And being able to be a part of not only like the franchises that I grew up loving, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Street Fighter,
Mm.
like Ranma. Not only is that meaningful to me as like someone who's fans of those things, but also, and I try to remind myself of this. I get to be the voice in someone's living room TV that makes someone else feel less alone. That makes
Yeah.
um, a, like a depressed or anxious teen, or like someone just like having a bad day, feel less lonely.
Yeah.
Um, I get to do what a lot of my heroes did for me, and it's very meaningful, especially like when I've been lucky enough to go to like very few conventions, but
Hmm.
I've heard um, from multiple people just like how much um, hearing us, the actors, as the characters means to them. And it's a little surreal because I think it's like I never thought I'd be in this position, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I've been pursuing it for as long as I have been, but it's still surreal though.
Yeah.
I told you I get long-winded. But I hope that answers your question.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So when you started your voice acting journey, what was your experience like in assimilating or joining the voice acting community?
So the way that I joined, I was really scared. I was
Mhm.
really shy when I first joined. I remember my my way into it was the voice acting club, which is a well, I as of right now it is still a pro boards forum, but the
Yeah.
pro boards forum part is dissolving soon. But they're
Mm.
still like there's still like a Discord server and a website, but that's um that's a forum that Kira Buckland started,
Yeah.
and I heard about it in a podcast, and I joined it and tried to meet people there, but I was so nervous to talk to anyone because
Yeah.
I was literally starting from zero and I had no credits to my name and I felt like a fraud,
Yeah.
and it really took me. I I think I just tried to work. I tried to audition for things just by myself in a vacuum and had no feedback whatsoever.
Mhm.
And I was just so scared to really like talk to anyone. And it really wasn't until I think like 8 months later where I actually found community and started talking to people who were also trying to pursue voiceover.
Yeah.
And it's through I'm grateful because it was through that community where I was able to learn and grow and become a better actor and learn about different opportunities and slowly build up my resume.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of those people that I came up with, I'm still friends to this day, and they're killing it. Like I think one of my earliest voiceover friends was Joshua Waters, who is like
I love
freaking
Josh.
killing it. Yeah, they are
Yeah.
incredible. And I yeah, no, it's like we used to dub comics together, and
Yeah.
now we're doing like really really cool stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
man, yeah.
Have you picked up on any advice that truly resonated with you throughout your journey?
Um, the first thing that comes to mind, I was watching. There's like a Tim Curry interview that I
Hmm.
saw, um, and he was asked a similar question of like, what do you have? What advice do you have for emerging like aspiring actors?
Yeah.
And it was simple. He just said, keep showing up, and I think there's a lot of truth to that because this is a career that is filled with disappointment
Yeah.
and filled with ups and downs, like stuff that like sometimes you can't control, and sometimes like you will be in it for the long haul and then someone will come along and they're just they have the right voice, they have the right talent, and they're getting into it at the right time, and they just
Yeah.
like soar and they do incredible things.
Yeah.
But literally, like, if you just keep showing up, if like you don't give up, if you just stick around, something is bound to stick, you
Yeah.
know? Like I could have given up so many different times, and I'm so glad that I didn't. Because I've been so lucky to have been able to work on the things that I've been able to work on and meet the people that I've been able to meet.
Yeah.
People who I are gonna be in my life for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no. I'm also like another maxim is, if you give up, it definitely won't happen.
Yeah.
But if you keep showing up, you might make it.
Yeah.
Um, which is I think that's like a very um, sort of cobbled together misquote of what Seth Rogen said in an interview. But
Yeah.
like, I was like, it's the simplest truths that are the most effective
Yeah.
in my opinion. So yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
With AI becoming more rampant and many companies attempting to convert to more AI practices, which in
Yeah.
turn steals opportunities from human workers,
Yeah.
what are some practices or strategies that you use to practice to make sure you deliver and associate with real human voices?
That's a really good question. I think ultimately, in the same way that after the pandemic, so many more, like, the voice actor market became so much bigger
Yeah.
that we had to step up our game. We had to become undeniable. We had to, become better actors to be competitive. I think a similar thing is like has to happen in regards to AI.
Yeah.
In particular, with all these like voice bank websites. Like, it's funny you bring this up because like just the other day,
Mm.
I so there's a website called fish.audio where
Okay.
people can take existing clips of someone's voice, upload it, and then create a digital double of their voice.
Wow.
It's evil, and I hate it. And someone has cloned my voice 5 or 6 times. And the thing is,
Wow.
they're not cloning me. They're not cloning
Mm.
John Patneaude. No one really knows who John Patneaude is.
Yeah.
But they know who Doael is, so they'll find clips of my Cookie Run character
Yeah.
and upload it and make like a digital copy.
Yeah.
And as of right now, NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors, they're putting out feelers to see if like any actor has had their voice cloned on that website,
Yeah.
to try to get them, hopefully. Like, I don't know exactly what they're going to do about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to like take the website down or whatever, because I know like that is a big point of contention.
Yeah.
When all the union contract negotiations were coming up, I remember people talking about, well, okay, we're talking about our likeness, but also as voice actors, in particular. Oh, I'm so sorry,
You're fine.
getting spam call. But as voice actors, we change our vocal prints a lot. I
Yeah.
don't. Most of my characters don't sound like me.
Yeah.
Don't sound like me on a day-to-day basis. They,
Yeah.
they might have an accent or like a much higher, a much deeper voice than what people are used to hearing from me.
Yeah.
And it's like you could legally make the argument, oh, this isn't John, this is this character.
Yeah.
And that gets even trickier when you have legacy characters like Bugs Bunny, who's
Yeah.
had like 5, 6 different actors. But it's such like an iconic role that like Bugs Bunny has like a definitive sound,
Yeah.
that people have to match. So that's one thing. It's being undeniably talented that people wouldn't even think to just hire a computer, basically. And the other thing is, I think in particular, and I still don't know if this is like enough to completely dissuade the technology,
Yeah.
but fans of games and anime detest AI in any way. Like, once they learn that AI was used to make this thing or whatever, like they don't want to buy it. They'll boycott by just not buying the thing or not watching the thing.
Yeah.
And because it's just and we see from our perspective, it's just shareholders and CEOs trying to like shove it down our throats, and everyone is like, we don't want this.
Yeah.
We don't want it. And it's so my hope is that like they'll listen to consumer feedback in
Yeah.
them not wanting it and stop spending so much money on this tech that isn't really netting them any profits, at least
Yeah.
not yet. But ultimately, we're in a period where like it's here right now, and the like the stuff that you're seeing 11 Labs and Sora do right now, it was able to do that 3 years ago,
Yeah.
which means there's stuff that AI can do right now that the public just can't see, that they're going to release to the public 3 years from now. It's planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
Tech companies have been doing it for years for phones and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was also talking to a friend the other day, and our concern is we don't think AI will like one-to-one replicate a human acting performance or human art.
Yeah.
But we do fear that it'll be good enough, and good enough is good enough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that is my fear. So that's why, you know, uh, we have uh, we have people like Nava and the Screen Actors Guild creating as much friction as they can to make it more difficult for these companies to use digital voices. But also, I think, I mean, I've talked to my agent about it, and she mentioned that this tech is still getting stress test, and
Yeah.
there's still like a bunch of holes in these contracts, but like we don't know what the holes are until we stress test it and we see how we can fill those holes.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the most morally correct thing that we can do when it is everywhere is to make sure that the artist is not getting screwed over.
Yeah.
That um, if that you disclose that you are making a digital clone or that you want to make a digital clone of their voice, and if they consent to you making a digital clone of their voice, compensate them for it.
Yeah.
Like, compensate them for it. Not like, and like, I'm not going to give an opinion about like whether or not, that's like morally correct to do, but like
Yeah.
I do think that like it's I think compensating someone for their digital double is is miles better than just stealing from them like blindly. So
100%.
yeah,
100%.
again, very long-winded, but
No, it's great. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
How can young people seeking to entry
Mhm.
into the business compete with both AI and senior talent?
Well, um, the good news is that I feel like people, I mean, the way that I started in voiceover was by getting into independent games and
Yeah.
cartoons and stuff. And in that market, I do think that um, no one is a fan of AI.
Yeah.
So, and they are open to um, supporting new burgeoning talent, as opposed to going to 11 labs
Yeah.
to just like fart out a voice. um, but also, like with anything, to compete with higher status talent or talent that's been doing it longer, you do what they did.
Yeah.
You attend classes, you learn your craft, you put in your hours. And you know uh it also depends on what kind of work that you want to do. I mean, I have
Yeah.
plenty of friends that they're able to do the remote thing and live in Washington DC or Ohio and do massive amounts of voiceover projects. But depending on like the stuff that you want to work on, you might have to move to a major market.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, um, the pandemic did show that it is for sure possible to do voiceover from anywhere.
Yeah.
But now that things are opened back up, uh, I think a lot of clients prefer you being in studio,
Yeah.
particularly if you're recording a game, or a cartoon if you're in LA, or if you want to do anime if you're in Texas or some parts of LA.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah.
Uh, what preparation do you see as most helpful for the field?
Um, could you elaborate a little bit more
Yeah,
on that?
sure. So
Yeah,
this can
yeah.
be either like normal type of like vocal exercises that you do
Mm-hmm.
to prepare for the role, or this can also be like whenever what type of mindset do you get into whenever you're either preparing for the role
Mm-hmm.
or whenever you're like cold calling or you're having conversations with your agent, what type of like mentality do you put yourself through?
Yeah. Well, for me, I think if you're getting into this, if you want to get into voiceover specifically, understand that voice acting is acting.
Yep.
So learn how to act. And I'd encourage people to. I mean, there are plenty of great voiceover classes that are focused in traditional acting and you will learn how to act through those classes. But if you can take a theater class, take it. If you can take an improv class, take it. Those are amazing in learning how to be present
Yeah.
and live in the moment. and focus on the intentions of what you're doing in a scene versus, oh, I hope this sounds okay.
Yeah.
And outside of that, again, if I were to like give myself different advice at the beginning, I would tell myself, stop being so shy. Like
Yeah.
no one is out to get you. And we're all helpful. We all want to raise everyone up.
Yeah.
And it is, you are not being manipulative if you ask someone questions about how they got rep or
Yeah.
what classes they recommend taking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just like be open-minded, and I think also something that helps is paying attention to other people's journeys
Yeah.
and seeing how you can apply their journey, and how they got to where they're at,
Yeah.
and try to see if you can do something similar.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I moved out here, I didn't move out here originally to pursue voiceover. I mean, I was doing it at the time, but I got a job as a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And when I moved out here, I remember listening to interviews with other people and getting their perspective of other voice actors and getting their perspective on how they went about maneuvering through this industry and getting the opportunities that they got. And I heard that's when I learned about agency clinics and other voiceover classes that were here. And I'm like, okay, let me try to do that. And eventually I found my own path through just determination, persistence, and some luck. And so far we're still kicking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Has there been a role for you that has been rewarding to you? Whether it's like something that like whenever you got into the booth, there was like an emotion or there was like a scenario that you really wanted to hit, that you were able to hit with this character, or it's just been like rewarding to you by the way of like it helped like break into the scene, or it helps just like getting yourself out there.
Ooh, good question. I still think that there are certain characters and projects and just scenarios that I would love to portray,
Yeah.
that I haven't gotten a chance to. Like I'd love to be in more. I mean, I'm in like one Marvel mobile game, but I would love to like actually do more superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Because it means a lot to me. I keep telling my agent that I want to play Spider-Man, and she's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you know that Yuri Lowenthal and Josh Keaton are still alive, so I don't know if that's gonna be. So I can dream though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think like one of the first things that I booked that I felt gave me a lot more confidence in my place in the industry was Katra in Trails, because that was like my first bigger video game character. I was a playable character in a cast in this big JRPG that included people like Damien Haas and Brittany Cox and Anjali Kunabaneni, and so many other amazing people that I looked up to. And it was like a pinch myself moment of just like, I get to be there too. I get to be included in the, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then like those sessions were incredibly fun. Honestly, there is a game that I'm in right now that we wrapped recording on maybe like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
It won't be out for like another year.
Yeah.
And I cannot talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think that game is definitely up there in like big, like bucket list things to do. So
Oh, that's great.
keep a lookout for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any work, roles, or classes you would like to share for any up and coming voice actors?
Yes, great question. So, I don't know if he does workshops right now, but if you ever see a workshop being led by Joel McDonald, take it.
Yeah.
Joel McDonald is fantastic. He's a wonderful human being, a fantastic teacher who is the perfect amount of no bullshit, but also like amping you up and supporting you and giving you incredible feedback and incredible insight. So Joel McDonald, fantastic. Mick Wingert is also, like, he's my voiceover coach, and he's also fantastic. That same level of, like, no bullshit and, like, super detailed oriented, but also so supportive. Almost anything done through Voice Tracks West. They do a lot of like hybrid online workshops and a lot of like in-person workshops, and they always bring amazing industry, directors or guests to lead things. So highly recommend those people. Those are the ones that like come that I'm thinking of, like, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like more free resources, Crispin Freeman has a fantastic podcast called Voice Acting Mastery, where it's chock full of interviews with other voice actors and industry professionals, but also a lot of great, episodes regarding the industry and acting technique. That was my gateway into getting into everything voiceover. So I highly recommend that podcast. Also, and I think if he had a nickel for any time anyone mentioned this website, he could like retire for the rest of his life, which I'm sure he's able to do anyway. But D. Bradley Baker has a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. And it has literally everything you could ever want to know about voice acting. And like, he's been running that website for years, like, and it got like a big update recently, after the pandemic, and online voiceover became more of a thing. So there's bits of his website that covers that. He's constantly updating it. He's constantly asking questions. So that's a fantastic resource that I recommend to everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just as a final question, if you were to give a bit of advice to a younger you with all the experience you've garnered up to this point, what would you say to a younger you?
I think I've touched on it a little bit earlier, but don't be so shy. You don't need to be so shy. You're not a fraud. You're not a fraud. We all start from somewhere, and the community is there to help you. It's not there to harm you. And use it, and don't be afraid of bugging people if you're messaging them. Don't be afraid that you're offending them by asking them questions. Just like, obviously easier said than done, but just don't be so shy. Don't be so nervous.
All right. Well, thank you so much for providing a voice for all things voiceover and giving a voice to a lot of people that like would need or would want some more information about this. So thank you so much.
Thank you again for having me. This is great.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Happy Voicing. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, whether you're starting out or experienced, break a leg and happy voicing.